What's up, guys? All right, this is your friendly neighborhood Carl with another little tutorial. We're going to do the basics of recording an Audition single track and multi-track as well. So when you open up Audition, you set your workspace however you like. We'll just go default for now. Reset to saved layout. There we go. That's what we were looking for. Get rid of that essential sound nonsense. That's for noobs. Essential sound is for noobs. We know how to do stuff the right way. Right? Well, we will if we keep watching tutorial videos. Anyway, so this is, what it'll look like. Otherwise, you can also go to classic, whatever. We'll keep it like this because it's nice. Got the big files window. We don't need any of that media browser nonsense. I mean, you can certainly use it if you like. I just don't find it that useful. Anyway, to record single track, really easy. Record. Enter your file name. And then we have covered this already, so we should know that our sample rate is always 44,100 channels. If I'm just recording my voice and I'm not working with music or anything, channels should be mono and bit depth 16. So your audio doesn't get screwed up when you drop it into Audio Vault. All right. And there you go. You're recording. Now, I would go over proper levels. Basically, you want peaks no higher than probably -6. But I typically, like this right here during normal speech, -12. That's pretty awesome. You'll see when I did that little, got pretty high. Those transients can get up there. But or if someone's laughing, that can get pretty loud. But so yeah, try to shoot for peaks right around -12 or so. That's pretty aight. So in any case, that is single track recording. Then you stop. You're all done with that. So now let's cover multi-track recording. So you see up here, multi-track. It'll say, oh, new multi-track session. And then we will go Carl's multi-track session. Now, very important. It could be the difference between you losing your audio, screwing up your whole project. Make sure you pick your folder location carefully and do it right now. Don't pick it when you go to save the session file, because everything that you import into that multi-track session, it's going to put it within that folder path, so then it can find it when you go back. If you're careless about this here, there's a chance you could lose audio, and then you're screwed. So yeah, check your folder location here. Like for me, I'm just doing a demo. So let's go browse. I'll put it in a new folder on my desktop. I mean, if you're working on Windows, this is obviously going to look a little different, but Windows has the same kind of thing. You can create a new folder, or just right-click on that desktop. New folder, Carl's multi-track demo. Okay, choose. Okay, now here, for template, probably want to do none. But I have a certain template that I like to use. So we'll just, again, sample rate 44,100, bit depth 16. Now, because we're doing multi-track, stereo, because typically multi-track stuff, you're going to have some kind of stereo audio, whether it's music or whether it's source audio that you did with like a little XY, like your Zoom or whatever. Typically, you're going to want to do stereo here. So you go, okay. And then boom, you get this. You get all these tracks. First of all, you may not want to have to view all these tracks. Let's say you only want to work with 2 or 3 tracks. So by clicking on these little waveform icons right here, you can minimize those. Or, let's see if I can remember how to do this here. You can just also let's see, multi-track, delete selected track. So if you want to get rid of these, now just be careful, obviously, which track you're selecting, especially if you already have some audio pulled in. Delete selected track, delete selected track. Where do we go? Whoops, multi-track, track, delete selected track. So you can minimize that master track. Now, these are pretty small, so how do I get them maximized? Well, over here on the right, you've got this view bar, and the easiest way is just click and drag it, and if you play with it a little bit, you'll figure out what it's showing you here. And you got the same kind of thing up top, too. So that's horizontal. So if you just grab it, move it up a little bit, and then move it down all the way, that will maximize that. So you're seeing the most amount of your waveform that you can. Perfect, right? Okay, so now to record here, we'll want to go to default stereo input, mono. Now, it's going to look a little different for you. I'm using the interface here in Studio A Control, so 16A in 1. But you'll see something similar in Production 1 and Production 2. So in any case, it's going to be mono and the input 1. Then up here, we just go arm for record. You won't be able to do any recording if there's nothing. You can't record if there's no tracks that are armed for recording. So you got to have the right input, and then make sure you're armed. And then you just record, and look at that. That is awesome. Some things to be careful of. Obviously, any tracks that are armed to record will record. So make sure, keep your eye on this while you're starting to work with session files that you've already been working on. Make sure you're not, you don't have more tracks armed to record than you need to. Otherwise, you're going to end up recording over stuff that you have on another track. So for that reason, I just do my own method of keeping my voice on track 1, like my voice. So I just do that, and then that's the only, and then I pull my other elements, into the other tracks, yes. So, other handy little things that you will need to know. So we've got our audio here. Let's grab the mono audio. Okay, so here are some handy little keyboard shortcuts for this. They're also up here in the Tools menu, or if you don't see that Tools menu, because it's gone, you can go up to Window, Tools. So I'll explain what some of these are here. This is the Move tool. You can also just hit V on the keyboard, and it does exactly what it sounds. It just moves stuff around. If you right-click, oh my God, it will duplicate your audio and move it and give you the option of copying, moving. So this comes in handy sometimes. Next up here, oops, didn't want to delete that. So next up is the Razor tool. So that, it's exactly what, you can cut up your audio and you can move it all around. So, and you'll notice it is auto-fading those clips when I move them together. How handy. Also, at the end of these little clips of audio, those are fade in and fade out boxes. You can move them up and down to adjust the curve on them, the log curve. So that's that. So that is the Razor tool, and that is accessed by the R key, or just, again, clicking up here. This next guy, this is kind of handy, but you might not use it very often, but it's super handy for what it does. The Slip tool, and this is accessed through the Y key. So what the Slip tool does is, check this out. It keeps the length of that audio clip the same, but it allows you to slip the audio. Let's see, this is super handy for working with location sound, or for doing music. If you are working with, a music clip or something, you're like, that's the right length of the clip, but I want a piece a little later in the music. So yeah, that's super easy. You can just grab that slip tool and slip and slide. And then, of course, the time selection tool. So this, as you click around, it moves the playhead. And then also you can select specific time, and with which you can do things like multi-track, mix down, session to new file, time selection. So if you just want to grab one piece of your multi-track session to mix down, you can do it like that with the time selection tool. Multi-track, mix down, session to new file, time selection. Boom. That's just what we had highlighted there. So that is that handy tool. There's some other ones up here, but these are more for very precise editing. We will get to that, I promise, but that's some of the basics right there. Occasionally, if you go to record and everything looks right, you've got this. If you think you have stuff selected right here, but it's not recording, you can always check the sound card to make sure that's set up right, which would be in the preferences. For Mac, it's under Adobe Audition CC. I believe it's in either File or Edit for Windows, but in any case, preferences, audio hardware. Now mine is 16A because that's the Studio A interface here, but yours in Prod 1 or 2 will look like this. So that could be one thing that's going on. Otherwise, if there are other issues, you may have to reboot the machine. I know it's a hassle, but sometimes that stuff happens. It even happens on my precious little MacBook here, and you can hear me cursing early in the morning when it does. So that is kind of the basics of multi-track, single-track recording. I'm going to do another tutorial next here on doing volume matching, and another one working with metadata. And then we'll begin to combine all these techniques into the most efficient way of doing voice tracking. So enjoy.